Hey, this is Jeff, and welcome back to my Fallout 3 challenge run to see how quickly I can get all skills to 100. I'm avoiding unnecessary XP so I don't level up too fast while I collect books, bobbleheads, and quest rewards for bonus skill points, so last week I hired Dogmeat and Caron to do any killing that needs done. I'm also going to need a lot of money, and Tulip, right here in Underworld, is one of the best vendors in the game when it comes to having a lot of caps to buy your loot. By the way, last week I couldn't figure out why I wasn't limping after a mine crippled one of my limbs. Well, I just assumed it crippled my leg, but when I was editing, I realized it was actually my arm, hence no limping and no movement penalty. Duh. I don't have the comprehension perk yet, so I'm going to stash any skill books I find in my desk just so I don't read them by mistake. And while I was naively thinking I could just stay crippled until we get to the Wasteland Survival Guide quest, I can't afford to be running around at 30% health until then, so I'm going to rest. Up until now,
It's good to see you alive and well, sir.
Excuse me? Wadsworth, seriously. Guys, back up. Classic Fallout 3 traffic jam where your companions like to watch you while you sleep. Anyway, I've been selling literally everything except my gun, my stim packs, and the clothes on my back, but I do store a few things that give me temporary skill buffs in my locker just in case I run into situations like the barter check with Ozrecall, where I need a few more points to pass a skill check. And don't forget to wait 12 hours after I sleep so I don't get any bonus XP for being well rested. It's finally time to go help Dad clear out the Jefferson Memorial. I don't have a fast travel marker, so I guess we'll go back to Rivet City and walk. I mentioned last time that my original plan was to make a one-off video and basically just show the level up screens until I got my skills maxed. I quickly realized there are going to be a lot of interesting tactical choices to minimize XP while maximizing skill points that may go against conventional wisdom for how to handle certain quests and situations, so I decided to make it a mini-series. I'm still going to edit out anything that doesn't really deviate from how a standard playthrough of the game would go, and just show you the stuff that's consequential to speedrunning my skills or otherwise interesting or unusual.
Over here. We'll get him. Had enough?
Yeah, Dogmeat and Caron are completely capable of handling anything the game throws at me at this level, so from here on out I probably won't have to fire a single shot. Huh. Garza didn't make it. I've never seen that happen before, but it'll save us a bit of trouble later. Hammer and wrench. On one hand, I want to loot everything that isn't nailed down. I need to buy 2 different themes for my Megaton house to get a couple of free skill books, and they're really expensive. But on the other hand, my strength is only 1, so my carry capacity is severely limited, so I should really resist picking up stuff that doesn't have a decent value to weight ratio.
I hate to ask you to put yourself in harm's way, but you seem to have learned to handle yourself. I need you to go in and make sure it's safe for Dr. Lee and her crew.
Sure thing. Be right back.
Be careful.
If by handle myself Dad means be a miser so I can hire the best bodyguards money can buy, I guess I can handle myself. Guys, I was just saying you're the best bodyguards around. There you go.
Aha. Where? Need some help with this one?
That's why Dogmeat's here.
Are you all right? Is it safe in there?
Everything in there is dead.
I'm proud of you. Now let's get in there.
I have to go, Dad.
Be careful, my son.
Something I don't think a lot of people realize, after you set your character's appearance at the beginning of the game, it morphs Dad's face slightly to make him look more like whatever you picked. Normally it's kinda subtle, but with Lone Wanderer Jeff it's really obvious.
The project was abandoned shortly after you were born. Things have deteriorated here since then, and there's been some flooding. I'll need you to get to the flood control pumps and activate them so we can clear out the water and reach the mainframe.
Okay, where do I need to go?
The automatic doors sealed when the flooding occurred, so you'll have to use the access tunnels to reach the pumps.
Yeah, it's nighttime outside, but in good light you can definitely see what I was talking about with that face morph. Anyway, let's go fix some stuff.
Oh! Look what we have here. Where? Damn it.
Yep, Doesn't look like Dogmeat and Karen are going to have any more trouble with the Enclave than they did with the super mutants. And they have really valuable weapons and armor, so let's go kill the rest of them.
Help me. Flank him. You like that, you bastard?
I'd like to think by this time when he says help me, he's talking to Dogmeat. And I'm over encumbered. If you're looting weapons and armor to sell, sometimes merging items is profitable and sometimes it isn't. It's kind of dependent on your repair skill because that determines how much they get improved. But generally, if the items are in poor condition to start with, the improved item is going to be worth more than the two crappy items you merged. Your mileage may vary, but in my case, beggars can't be choosers. Here he comes. Dogmeat does not like that first aid kit. Now there's a badass. He just casually strolls into the Enclave ambush.
Maybe I'm just jumpy.
I'm not sure how nobody but Dogmeat is detecting their enemies.
0 targets detected.
Yep, 0 targets. That's us.
Damn it.
Oh, there he goes.
I have positive ideas.
Doors open. Let's go. Let me guess. Garza's heart. Oh, right. What, too soon?
You honor us with your presence here.
That's very kind, considering I've done nothing noteworthy.
I am Dr. Madison Lee. I have people with me in need of shelter. You must allow us access at once.
I'm sorry, ma'am. No unauthorized civilians allowed inside the Citadel. You'll have to leave now.
See, Maddie? I never even met the Brotherhood before, but I'm polite, and the dude was perfectly fine with me. You run around acting like you're the boss of the world, and now you gotta cash in favors to get anywhere. Some people. Anyway, we should level up as soon as we get far enough inside to trigger the quest completion message. Level 5, we get 23 points because we took the Educated perk last level. Bring explosives up to 36, and that's done. We'll get 4 more points when we raise Perception to 10 and get the rest from books and bobbleheads. Lockpick only up to 26 because we get 4 points from raising Perception in that too, and we'll be taking 2 ranks of the Thief perk later, plus books and bobbleheads. Medicine 39. We already have the bobblehead, but we'll be taking a rank of Daddy's Boy and getting 6 points from the Survival Guru perk. There are a couple of important speech challenges coming up soon, so I want that as high as it can go for the minute. We'll get 48 points from books, 10 from the bobblehead, and 10 more from the bear charm, so that can go up to 32, which will leave 5 points for melee weapons. And for the perk, we'll take comprehension, so we get an extra point from every book we read. That's why I've been hoarding books in my desk instead of reading them. And now let's watch a cutscene.
Madison, I'm surprised to see you here. What can I do for you?
Don't talk down to me, Lions. I had nowhere else to turn. You must help us. Project Purity has been overrun.
Maddie,
Yes,
what did I
heard
just
reports
tell
of the
you?
incident there. What details can you give us?
I'm going to drink some wine to buff my charisma because I have to pass this speech check with McCready.
Hold it right there, mister! Don't take another step, or we'll blow your fucking head off.
Ouch. Oh, come on. I'm a nice guy, really. May I please come in?
Well, okay, but you better not be lying, or else we'll shoot you.
That was lucky. I would have reloaded the autosave if I failed, because I definitely can't afford to rescue his friends from Paradise Falls.
Sorry I missed your party.
Okay, so you get in, but I got my eye on you. You don't make any trouble in here, got it? I ain't having no shit butts making trouble.
I'm not planning on starting any trouble.
Good. Better stay that way, Mungo.
Where can I find Joseph?
I'm the mayor, not a babysitter, Mungo. Beats me. Maybe he's back there by the door. Fuck if I know.
See you around, McCready.
Yeah, that's nice. Scram.
I don't just mean I can't afford the caps to rescue the kids. I can't afford the XP either. I think that quest gives you 900 more than I want in any case. I talked a little bit about Fallout 3 speech challenges last episode. Unlike New Vegas, where they're based entirely on your speech skill, charisma matters here. Unfortunately, I had to set mine to 1 anyway to make the skill math work. McCready's a very hard speech check, but with good karma and speech 32, it shouldn't have been that hard. So you can see the effect low charisma has in this game.
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, average lock. Don't think I can do that even if I run home for the lab coat. Yeah. Science 25, not even close. Well, murder pass it is then. I think Dogmeat and Karen can handle it.
Come on, let's get the gate open for you, Mungo.
No longer well rested. Son of a bitch. I forgot to wait the last time I slept. Well, that was only a handful of bonus XP for the speech challenge. I'm glad it wore off before I finished picking up the trail, though. That would have been more than a handful. And I think damage resistance is more important than speed down here, so we'll put on the power armor that Paladin Gunny was kind enough to teach us to use.
Now try and hide from this!
We'll get him. Keep firing.
Although with these guys, I might not take much damage anyway. There's the quest complete. And we'll level up from that. Level 6, we bring melee weapons and repair up to 40. We'll eventually get 69 points in science from books, perks, and the bobblehead, so that momentarily caps at 31. And put the rest in small guns. For the perk, we'll take a rank of Thief for 5 points each in Lockpick and Sneak. And now we need to find a Gek. I'm going to use the fire alarm to release Fox. There's a terminal beside the console that lets you open the cells individually if you only want to let him out, but it requires Science 50, which I don't have, and I wouldn't want the XP from hacking even if I did.
Bring it! Well, that's the end of that.
And these guys had zero problem with the other prisoners anyway. So let's talk to Fox.
Finally! Freedom! True freedom! Ha ha ha! I cannot thank you enough for this gift. Game's over! Only one of us!
You like that?
Walk away alive! Your death is my victory.
Yeah, with Dogmeat, Karen, and Fox, we're pretty much unstoppable.
Okay, you stay here. Beyond this door, the hallways and chambers are flooded with radiation. I'll get the case and bring it right back. Keep your eyes open. Many of my lesser-minded brethren are bound to stumble across us.
Works for me.
As promised, here's the Gek. I hope it's worth it. I'm afraid this is where you and I part company. I'll find my way out of this place. Don't worry.
Well, nothing could possibly go wrong at this point. Fox presumably has unfinished business in the vault, but I always wondered why your other companions don't do anything when you get kidnapped. I guess you're supposed to assume they get knocked out too, but the Enclave doesn't need them, so they leave them here.
Objective is secured, sir.
You tell me that code, or it's going to cost you.
And I always give the wrong answer, 704.
Very well. We'll just verify that now.
Copy, 704. Stand by, sir. Entering code now. Negative, sir. The code's no good. I just lost another man.
Why do you insist on making things difficult?
I'll be waiting for you in my office. Please don't tarry.
I wonder. Nope. That does not count as a person killed, even though it probably should. Get my stuff out of the locker as soon as it's unlocked. And level up. Level 7, we have 58 points in small guns coming from the bobblehead and books, so to cap that at 42. And put the rest in sneak. And for the perk, we'll take another rank of thief for another 5 points and lockpick and sneak. And now we're going to speed run our way through Raven Rock. If I need a weapon, something has gone horribly wrong, but better safe than sorry. And an assault rifle is going to be better than the 10mm. These guys almost exclusively use energy weapons, so tanking some heavy damage is probably more important than absolute top speed. Unfortunately, Fallout 3 doesn't have faction disguises like New Vegas, so wearing Enclave armor won't just let me casually stroll out.
Hold it right there.
Head up to the mess hall. At some point, Colonel Autumn overrides President Eden's orders to let me pass.
Attention! This is Colonel Autumn. You are hereby ordered to ignore the President's previous directive.
Yep. So now we're wanted again. Anyway, this brings us out in the lab on level 2 with a fairly straight shot to level 1. Just keep bearing left. If you use the other door, it's kind of maze-like and you have to fight through a bunch of enemies. In here, it's mostly scientists who flee when they see you. If you prefer an all-guns blazing kind of approach, you might want to go that way. But even if you're not ignoring loot and XP like I am, this might be a decent tactical choice for a stealth character. And I think we go straight here. Yep. Now, do not forget, the whole reason we're here, Colonel Autumn's quarters are up here on the left, and that's where the energy bobblehead is. And we get ambushed by a couple guys across the hall. Don't care. Grab that. Energy weapon skill increased by 10 points. And now, ignore these guys and get out of here. Excuse me. See ya. Up through the war room and through the door on the left to the President's office.
I saw your capture, and a little cleverness allowed me to follow your captors. I only wish I could have arrived sooner to aid your escape. As I owe you my freedom, I felt it was only fair that I return the favor. After all, I know no one else in this world.
I could always use a hand. Would you like to follow me?
My friend, I would be honored to follow a hero such as yourself. Shall we go?
Nothing against Charon, wouldn't be where I am today without him, but Fox is just ridiculous. And I was a little bit worried that we already hit level 7 when we arrived, but I just realized the American dream isn't completed until you talk to Elder Lyons back at the Citadel, and there's absolutely no reason to do that since I already got the bobblehead. So let's go back to Megaton, heal up, and see how those raiders in the Super Duper Mart like me now. Damn it! I forgot to wait to get rid of the well-rested bonus again. Well, so be it. And another batch of raiders spawns when you open the pharmacy, so let's finish looting in here before we do that. Oh, no, don't pick that. More importantly, there's a barter book over here. And now, raid the pharmacy for Moira. So let's talk about the Wasteland Survival Guide quest reward. Not the items Moira gives you at each stage, although a couple of them are books, so that's obviously important. But I mean the perk you get at the end. If you complete less than half of the optional objectives, you get a perk called Junior Survivor. More than half, but not all, it's called Survival Expert, and 100% it's called Survival Guru. That affects the magnitude of whatever buff the perk gives you. We want the biggest bonus, so we're doing all the optional objectives. Exactly what that buff is based on, let's call it style.
Every time you turn in an objective, you get up to 5 dialogue options to explain what you discovered to Moira. A normal response and a snarky response are always available. Depending on your special stats, you may also have a tough guy option, a clever option, or a sly option. Whichever style you use most determines the exact buff you get from the perk at the end. The clever style gives you bonus points to science and medicine, which ordinarily you wouldn't want because you can just buy more points when you level up. Whereas some of the other styles give you things that are much harder to come by, like the tough guy style gives you bonus damage resistance, or the snarky style increases your chance to score critical hits. But we're speedrunning skill points, so we want the clever responses. Some of the clever responses are based on intelligence and some on perception. The tough guy responses are based on strength or endurance, and the sly responses are based on agility or charisma. If you want a particular style, but only one of the 2 related stats is high enough, it takes a bit of planning. When a response in the style you want isn't available, you need to keep track and distribute your responses evenly among the other styles, so the one you want is still the most common overall by the end. But my intelligence is 10 and perception is 8, so we can be clever every time. And we got what we want, so there's no point hanging around to kill all the raiders. Grab the last bits of loot and get out of here. Scorpion. Okay, that's weird. A giant scorpion that isn't hostile. I guess that's the same one that glitched through the sidewalk last episode? Do you want to be my friend? Oh, nope.
Oh! Next time, put up a fight!
Next time I won't pick a fight. So let's head back to Megaton, and before I forget, let's wait until the well-rested bonus wears off. And by the time we get rid of that, she's going to be closed. I will occasionally get the tough guy option because my endurance is 7, but it must be strength this time because it's not available. The clever one's based on intelligence. The raiders were using the pharmacy as a place to store their best gear.
So you're saying that they acquired a well-protected stash? I wonder how many other places are hiding treasures behind monsters. I still need to study a living specimen with radiation poisoning. Now, 200 rads should be enough for basic sickness, but if you can get 600 or more rads, my test will be even more accurate.
All right, I already have minor radiation poisoning, and the quickest place to get the rest is Springvale School, which I do not have on my map, so I guess we'll walk. I know you can just stand in the water around the bomb right here in Megaton, but that's only 1 or 2 rads a second, whereas the toxic barrels behind the school are almost 10 rads a second. And yes, apparently pre-war society thought the best storage option for extremely hazardous waste was in a chain link fence behind an elementary school. But they also put a radioactive isotope in Nuka-Cola Quantum just to make it glow, so they obviously weren't crazy health nuts like we have today. Actually, it never occurred to me before, but President Eden's whole deal is he wants to make America great again by getting rid of all mutations. But if you do what he asks, the endgame slides say the modified FEV doesn't just kill ghouls and super mutants, it kills basically everybody who lives in the wasteland because they've been constantly exposed to elevated background radiation. If you have broken steel installed, the tainted water will even kill the player if you drink too much of it, because even though you grew up in a vault, you weren't born there. But my point is, I'm surprised it doesn't kill the Enclave and lifelong vault dwellers alike, because if pre-war people were intentionally drinking radioactive soda and storing nuclear waste beside grade schools, I can't believe they have uncorrupted genomes either. Anyway, the place we want is right back here. The gate is locked, but only very easy. You know, if kids break in, they were asking for it, right? And I obviously don't want the XP for picking the lock, so I'll just stand outside the fence.
Be aware of our surroundings.
Good point, Fox. I might get a higher dose around the other side, closer to the barrels. Oh yeah, much hotter back here. Fox? I guess he detected the raiders around the corner. Oh, in fact, here they come. Guys, They're getting kind of close. Okay. Ow. There you go. Hey. They're over there, guys. Alright, good. And now we have 600 rads. Back to Moira. If I listen closely, I can hear my genes crying.
So, you're experiencing delusions too. Fascinating. Now, after taking a few notes, I'll take care of that nasty radiation with a bit of my own homemade concoction. Landmines are one of the few dangers out there that you can profit from. Disarm one before it blows, and you can sell it for plenty of caps. I've heard stories about a ghost town that's just full of mines. Traders just call the place Minefield. Sounds like the place for some field work. Get in there, get back, and tell me all about it. And could you bring back a mine for my studies?
Guys, back off. Well, good. The car going off should have cleared most of the mines off the road, too. Hopefully there's one left for Moira. I think you can give her any frag mine. It doesn't have to be one you pick up here, but I'm not sure about that. I already sold the ones from the Anchorage Memorial anyway. Now I'll just visit the... Sounds like Arkansas. Yeah. Triggered another car. Fortunately, we should be able to fast travel. All that shooting is a scripted event. We're really way outside his actual detection radius. Back to Moira. Perception again. Watch the details and look for broken patterns. That's where the traps are.
That's so true. For all of life, really. But especially the parts involving landmines. Mole rats can burrow into almost anything and cause a lot of trouble. So I figured I'd make a chemical repellent stick for people to shoo them off. You could test it out on just a few mole ratties, but for real testing, try it on 10 or more. There should be plenty in the tepid sewers downtown.
No, there aren't. I went through there on my way to hire Karen last episode, and I'm pretty sure they're all dead. And while I'm here, I can finally afford to buy one of the house themes that comes with a skill book.
Good to see that old house finally found an owner. I have all sorts of items and themes for that place that may interest you.
I'm going with the Love Machine theme first. It comes with a speech book. The Scientist theme, unsurprisingly, comes with a science book, but I'd rather have that be my permanent theme, so I'll buy it last. And since she'll make a ton of caps off the theme, I can probably sell most of my loot, even though she's still broke from my last visit. Dog meat, I need you to wait here while I do the mole rats. I don't want you killing them all before I can test the repellent stick. Fox, you too.
What have you got on your mind?
Wait here.
If you insist, but do be careful. I can hardly repay your kindness while waiting back here.
There are usually 3 or 4 around the back of Megaton. There's one. You know, I legged it through the tepid sewers, so Dogmeat might not have had time to kill them all. And if he did, Plan B is Jury Street Metro Station. Hey, do not kill that mole rat. What the? Oh, there's a spawn point for random encounters around here, too, and that was probably the one where an escaping slave asks you to disarm his bomb collar, but since he was already aggroed by the mole rats, he didn't get the chance. Good news is, now I have a crippled limb for Moira's next objective. Well, that was harder than it needed to be, but on the bright side, I can turn in the mole rat repellent and then do the get injured objective without even leaving the shop. Be right back, guys. It appears that mole rats have a most fatal allergy to it, explosively so.
Those poor little mole ratties. Oh, I wonder if I could make a hypoallergenic version. Oh, but that'd hardly be effective. I hesitate to ask, but I'll need to examine the effects of serious physical trauma. I wouldn't ask if I couldn't fix you up afterwards, of course. When you're ready, come back here with some serious injuries, maybe a crippled limb or two, and I'll take notes and fix you up. I'll be waiting here with plenty of bandages for you. So don't worry. Just go get horribly injured. Oh, and be careful.
So let's talk about this injury. Actually, let's not. Some quests can glitch if you don't turn in the objectives exactly how the game expects, so let me end this dialogue first. I have to go now.
Come back soon.
Okay, the game's acknowledging the objectives are complete now. Should be safe to talk to her again.
Well, how do you feel?
This really hurts, you know.
Oh, I know it does, dear, but it's for a good cause. Try not to squirm so much while I take notes. Now, how would you describe the pain you're feeling? Any advice for how to keep it from being overwhelming? And remember, this is for posterity.
Pain's an abstract. I stay focused on the definable things, like survival.
That's a very enlightened attitude you've got. Shame it doesn't stop bullets, huh? I recommend the nest at the Anchorage War Memorial. I knew a trader who talked about the mirelurks down there. Just go inside and find one of their spawning pods, probably down near the water. Put this observer inside and get out quietly. And be sure not to kill any mirelurks inside their nest. If you do, it could ruin the validity of the study.
I patiently await your word.
Just a little while longer, guys. I've heard that companion kills don't count against the optional objective, but now is not the time to test that theory. I don't want to jinx myself, but this should be a lot easier than the mole rats. I've seen quite a few walkthroughs that show the back door to the memorial so you don't have to sneak through the whole dungeon, but they always put the observer in one of the egg clusters that's watched closely by the mirelurks. But there's one off to the side where they never seem to wander, and it's pretty easy to get in and plant it without even being spotted. The back door's down here on the opposite side from the main door, and it's a very easy lock, so anybody can do it, no matter how low your lockpick skill is. There are a bunch of little rooms straight ahead and to the left where they have egg clutches in them, but the mirelurks patrol that area, and it's easy to get cornered. Whereas right over here, we have one that nobody watches. Hide the observation device inside. Done. If the mirelurk down there is facing this way and your sneak skill isn't great, it can spot you, but even if it does, you have a whole lot more room to maneuver. And back to Moira. Companions don't wait forever in Fallout 3. They'll eventually get bored and go back to their default location, so I'm going to get fox and dog meat before... There's somebody dead on the ramp, probably Walter. No! Lucas. I have never seen that before. Sometimes when Walter comes out of the water plant for a smoke, he'll spawn on the wrong side of the rail and plunge to his death, but that's weird. I have no idea what happened to Lucas. If you report Mr. Burke to him, he'll get in a gunfight and usually lose unless you help, but I didn't. I disarmed the bomb without even talking to Burke. He lives beside the water plant, but I've never seen him go in there. And his house has a balcony, but I've never seen him use it. He always uses the front door, so I don't know where he could have fallen from. Walter, did you see anything? Or did you push him? You don't have the time or spare parts to fix the pipes. Mayor keeps pushing to get it done. Resentment builds. One night you're coming out for a smoke. There he is, leaning over the rail on his way home, and boom, you snap. Yeah, I got my eye on you, pal. How about you? Did you see anything?
You looking to trade, stranger? Check out Crater Site Supply.
None of the witnesses are talking. Very suspicious. Well, that's, really sad, but you know what this means. Stay calm, folks. There's a new sheriff in town. And the sheriff's duster actually isn't bad. Let's take a look. Damage resistance 3, even in poor condition, and it buffs charisma and small guns. I'll stick with the tunnel snake outfit, but I'm going to hang on to the duster in case I need a charisma buff, and if I can get it repaired, it might become my go-to outfit. They descended from local crabs. I'd call them Scylla serrata horrendus.
That's very scientific of you. Personally, I wasn't sure if they were crabs or if they came from some sort of brine shrimp, perhaps. Rivet City. It's the most successful survivor settlement around, but no one here really knows how it started. Oh, now I can't wait for what you find out down there. And check around to make sure you're hearing the real deal.
Billy says not to talk to you.
Okay, I won't. To Rivet City. Unfortunately, you can't just head straight to the Broken Bow and talk to Pinkerton. Well, you can, but he won't talk about the city's history until one of the other residents tells you that he knows. I know the bartender, Belbani, can tell you about him, but that requires a fairly hard speech check, so I'm going to start with Bannon. Hasn't Rivet City been around for longer than 12 years?
Well, yes, but it was hardly any place of importance until I arrived on the scene. That's all ancient history now. No one would ever care about it. If you insist on wasting your time on that, you could try that bartending old crone down below, Belbani.
No, that was a waste.
Come back soon.
Only 5 XP, though, so not the end of the world. All right, plan B.
Well, I could tell you all about my hotel, but I'm sure I don't know anything about how Rivet City itself got started. Seagrave may know more about it. He's been here since he was just a boy, and I can't imagine anyone knows this ship better than he does.
Last feller I remember from back then was Mr. Pinkerton, and he must have left about a decade ago, after that spat with the science team. He used to have a storage shed in the broken-off bow of the ship. We always thought he was crazy for keeping stuff there.
Dog meat? You okay, boy? That's an unusual style of dog paddling. Anyway, these guys can handle the Mirelurks, but I'd better get upstairs and disarm the traps. I really don't want the XP, but it's better than having Fox run through a tripwire and blow me to Kingdom Come.
Here. They probably don't even remember, but I kept the records of that first council meeting. Take them, if it'll put them in their place.
And I feel bad about robbing a guy who just helped me out, but there's a science book and a repair book right here on his desk.
Stop, thief!
And apparently I wasn't hidden when I did that. He just took them back. I'd feel really bad about murdering a guy who just helped me out, but... well, maybe I can pickpocket him.
Not a good idea.
Trust me, it's a better idea than the alternative. Sweet. Let's get out of here before he notices that too. It began as a research station, which is why it's still a scientific haven.
With the protected location and resources that came from those scientific advances, I can definitely see how it grew so quickly. Books are where the old world kept its knowledge, and libraries are where it kept the books. And there's supposed to be one in Arlington. See if it's still there, and if you can download records from its computer. Information dumps like those would be invaluable for rebuilding humanity. If you can't get those, then even the card catalog would be useful. Any little piece of information could help the book, and thus humanity.
There are a few skill books in the library, maybe not as many as you'd expect, but there's a science book in the first office on the right.
That was too easy.
In the archives break room, there's a barter book. Excuse me. Get the card catalog and full archive from the terminal. And there should be a skill book in here. Nuka-Cola Quantum. Nice, but not what I'm looking for. The guy with the rocket launcher must have blown it off the desk and into a corner someplace. I hope it didn't get blown out of the level. Sometimes that happens. Maybe something else got blown on top of it? There. Ah, good. Lockpicking magazine. All right. Now, there are a couple books in the other wing, so let's head over there. But In my experience, Fallout 3 is a much more stable game than New Vegas, but on multiple occasions I've seen it crash in this next area if you have companions with you. The second floor of the hospital during Riley's Rangers quest does the same thing. Don't know what causes it, but I'm going to do this as fast as I can. I will take ammo. And more ammo and stim packs, though. And this is why I didn't just skip it. A skill book for guns. Pre-war books. Let's get out of here. And there's a speech book right around the corner here. And a pre-war book. There's the speech book. Alright. Out of here. Oh. Looks like dog meat found its way down.
Time for you to bleed. I'll tear your heart out.
Where's Fox? Oh, there he is. Kind of late to the party, guys. Now, I could turn all those pre-war books into Scribe Yearling, the miscellaneous ones, not the skill books, obviously. And she pays a lot of money for them, 100 caps a piece, I think. But you also get XP, so I'm going to hold on to them for now. Why are you guys hostile? Raiders are in back. Hope you're not mad at me. Anyway, while we're here, there's another skill book in the Fallout shelter around the corner. And other guns and bullets. If I can grab it instead of the skeleton or the door.
Be aware of the present moment.
There we go. And there's another skill book back around the corner in the other direction in the Talon Company field base. Ordinarily, I don't think it's worth provoking these guys, but I need every book in the game, so might as well get it while we're here.
There you are.
And it's not going to be particularly difficult with Dogmeat and Fox with me. Yep. Unless they have a missile launcher. Guys, this is all you. Oh no. It's usually on this table, but one of those explosions must have knocked it off. It could be anywhere. Well, if I can't find it, I'll just reload the autosave. Oh, is that it? Yes. Alright, good enough. Back to Moira.
You want something?
Actually, I have plenty of money to buy the next theme from her, and everything that came with the old theme disappears when you buy a new one, so let's grab all that before we talk to her. The only thing I absolutely have to get out of here is the skill book, which is right on your desk upstairs. A copy of Lying Congressional Style, the speech book right here. And I know I just said you need to get everything out before you buy a new theme, but the containers don't get touched, just the decorations. So it's safe to leave things in the desk or the fridge or the lockers or whatever. So I'm going to leave all the books I picked up recently in the desk, which is quite a few of them apparently. I actually remembered to wait 12 hours to get rid of the well-rested bonus this time. Dog meat? Okay, you're a good boy, but please let me out of my bedroom. Thank you. If you've never bought the Love Machine theme from Moira, by the way, you get this lovely chandelier, exactly like the one in Dukov's place. And I think the rest of the decorations are mostly just booze and fancy clothes and other junk. The clothes aren't particularly valuable, but the whiskey is 10 caps a bottle, so we'll definitely take that. This is an entire library's archives. You know how valuable that is, right?
I suspect you and I are two of the only people who really appreciate its value. Yes. Oh, but here's a book of mine and some caps for your research. Think of it as pay for a civilization worth of overdue books.
And we also get a speech book.
It does, doesn't it? I mostly just deal with it after it's junked, but a trader gave me this bit of electronics from the Robco factory. If there's a way to reactivate and control the robots there, it'd make for a good example of harnessing the past technology for the book.
And while we're here, let's buy the scientist theme for the house, which should give her enough money to buy most of the junk I'm carrying. I just realized I have a problem. To reprogram the robots, you need Science 50, and I'm not even close. In an unfortunate chicken and egg scenario, I'll get 6 points of science when we complete the quest, but we can't complete the quest until I raise my science skill. And speaking of science, let's check out my new decor. Yeah, that's the stuff right there. And as you can see, any items in the various containers are untouched, including the Vault Lab uniform, which gives you +5 science. I'll take that and stash anything else I might use later, but not immediately. Oh, by the way, the science theme comes with an energy weapon skill book, not a science skill book, right here on the bookshelf, which is why we bought it in the first place. So let's put that in the desk upstairs. Anyway, there are a few more ways I can raise my science skill, but it obviously takes a lot more time to do all this stuff than it does to show you the important bits once I edit it, so I think I'm going to call it a day, do some inventory management, and we'll see about my science skill next time. See you soon.